Sinbad's Shazaam, the movie that everybody thinks they saw, but never actually existed. The internet is a weird place, and there are many myths about many films that exist all over the internet that, say for instance, a guy hung himself on the set of Wizard of Oz, or that there's a ghost in the background of the movie Three Men and a Baby. It's actually just a cardboard standee of Ted Danson from an early scene. But the one movie myth that continuously perpetuates and has done since the early 2000s is that the movie Shazaam, starring Sinbad, was released in 1994, and the whole world saw it right before something happened and it completely disappeared. Now, this is a particular subject that I've made quite a few videos about in the past, and have discussed at great length that the actor Sinbad, who's better known as David Atkins, never actually made a movie called Shazaam. And a lot of people that believe that they did see it all tend to kind of come from one generation. It's 90s kids, really, that grew up and think they saw it. Their memory has tricked them into believing that it was a real film. And when I do discuss this, I often get an enormous amount of messages or emails. On occasion, people in real life will walk up to me and say, I've seen the movie, or I own the movie, or I guarantee I saw it. No matter what, my memory is not garbage. The problem is that human memory is garbage, and we're remembering it incorrectly, because right around the same time this movie supposedly came out, another movie was released called Kazam with Shaq. Combining this with Sinbad's propensity to dress like a genie on a regular basis, people melded the two together. Now, the movie Kazam with Shaq wasn't memorable at all, and combine that with Sinbad's propensity to dress like a genie on occasion, particularly when presenting films on TV, people combined those two together. This situation is then made more confusing by comedian David Atkins, Sinbad, going on talk shows and saying that yes, it was made.
I did do Shazaam. I'm not proud of it when I did Shazaam. I was doing a lot of crack. I was staying in crack houses, and I did Shazaam for crack money.
But then on other talk shows saying, no, it wasn't made.
Genie back in the day?
No, man, it was a lot. Everybody thought it was Shazam. It started about 2008, 2000. I don't even know how it got started. I don't even know how it started. Then it got to the point, people remember the same scene. They only remember one scene, me and two little kids. They don't remember no other part of the movie. And everybody says, I watched it as a kid.
And then that confusion is made even more so by the release of this bit of footage.
Oh, man, it feels good to get out that thing. Oh, kind of cramped up in there. Should have took you long enough, Tina. Wait, y'all are not Tina.
Which is from 2017 and was created by collegehumor.com in conjunction with Sinbad and was released on April 1st. It was an April Fool's gag, and it's actually full of April Fool's related things and things associated with a thing called the Mandela-effect. And the Mandela effect is an issue with human memory that is shown through people misremembering things like Fruit of the Loom logo having a cornucopia when it in reality never did. The Berenstain Bears versus the Berenstain Bears. But it takes its name from South African President Nelson Mandela, who a lot of people thought died in prison, when in reality he didn't. But people misremembered things because, again, human memory tends to be a bit shit. Now, that clip of that interview that I showed a little bit ago, where Sinbad says he did make the film, a lot of people point to that and say that's proof, that's absolute proof. But they don't really want you to watch the rest of the interview.
I was staying in crack houses, and I did Shazaam for crack money. I knew it wasn't going to be a great movie because I have no genie skills. I think most movies, you have to bring something out of yourself, and I've never been a genie or had magical powers. It was a learning process for me as I was doing this movie, just getting into the lamp. I took a lot of yoga, a lot of Crisco oil to slide up into that lamp. So, I injured myself. I had a rotator cuff injury, but I'm not crying. I'm not crying because I'm tough. For those who said, hey, you saw Shazaam when I was growing up, yeah, you did. It did exist. It took a lot of government intervention to get those videos out of people's homes and out of the video stores. I'm lucky because I'm ex-military, ex-special forces. So we were able to do a lot of mind control stuff to get those videotapes away from people. There's 3 tapes left. There are 3 Shazaam videos still out there we did not find. And if we find you, we're gonna kill you.
Now, if you watch the rest of that interview in its entirety, it gets pretty ridiculous after a while, where he talks about having to grease up to fit inside the lamp, and that he was ex-special forces, and that they'll kill people if they don't get the tapes back, etc. It's very obviously sarcasm, but a lot of people refuse to accept that their memory is wrong So they point to the one part of that interview where he says he made it, and they go, see, that's proof. And then there is, of course, the issue of trolls who just really like to screw with people. And a lot of folks that are, quite frankly, talented have gone out of their way to make fake VHS tapes and fake movie posters. And it's all done with, in a lot of cases, really bad Photoshop. One also has to take into account how movies are made. It's not just a director, a writer, and an actor that make a film. It takes a village to make a movie. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of people are involved in the production of a film. And though this film is purported to have been made by numerous people, not one person in the industry has ever stepped forward, save for Sinbad, of course, and said the movie actually happened or they were involved with it. And not a single item from the production of the film, not a script, not any bit of advertisement, no recorded commercials of advertisement of it, nothing in print media of any kind has ever surfaced to prove that this movie exists. There are surviving scripts and bits of ephemera made for films from the 1920s. Movies themselves that were lost in fires that still survive to this day. But a movie made in 1994 somehow has nothing remaining? No logical person can look at the absolute lack of proof of the existence of this movie and go, yes, it existed. There has to be some question there that says, well, maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly. But there are people that take it to an even more ridiculous degree and say that, well, the movie doesn't exist in this dimension, and they blame parallel dimensions on the reason this movie exists. Just the level of narcissism that it takes to look at the lack of evidence of the existence of a film and assume in your own arrogance that your memory is perfect and decide that, no, it wasn't the government, no, the movie didn't exist, it's because of another dimension messing with ours. What? So in summation, Sinbad's Shazaam is not a real movie. There is no proof of its existence. David Atkins, Sinbad himself, has both said that it did and didn't exist, so that really kind of makes Sinbad himself not a trustworthy source. No shade to him, but he's said yes and no. So there is no physical evidence of the movie having ever been made whatsoever. Not a single person that purported to work on it has ever come forward. The movie just never existed. And for those of you bold enough to step back and claim, oh, it's at my grandma's house or it's in the basement of my house, what have you, know that there is currently a, I believe, $25,000 bounty just to prove the existence of the movie. So if you want to claim you have it, come forward with it, because it would be a great payday for you. But I myself, props to history, am going to put 10 toes on the ground and say with my full chest, anyone who claims to have the movie in their possession may not be entirely truthful. Thank you for watching. Props to history.